I had to restart. So, all right. So let me give person some time to join. All right. So, welcome to those of you who are joining. Shirley Hyatt, Patsy Bennett. Welcome everyone tonight to tonight's live. And Dr. Ben Israel. And tonight we're going to be looking at some herbs for you to fully grasp what is happening. All right, thank you, Yvonne. Good night, everyone. Good night. Could you just send out the live to a couple of persons? No, just send it out to a couple of persons. So in our the last session that we had, so almost as if I'm always plagued with these issues. Yvonne, good night. Love by God. Good night. So tonight I'm going to be sharing with you some herbs. Oh, by the way, if you some of you are joining me for the first time on TikTok, I'm actually doing my first TikTok live. So I'm going to be talking to those of you on TikTok, talking to those of you who are on Facebook as well as YouTube. Tonight I'm going to share with you, I was in Kissimmee, Florida recently, about a month ago. And big up Sean Lennon, anywhere in Jamaica you are, because I know you're visiting Jamaica. I was in Kissimmee, and I was at Sean's house. And I was doing an episode of the 60 Minutes with Mother Nature. And for those of you who are joining us for the first time, 60 Minutes with Mother Nature is a series that we do on our YouTube channel, where we teach persons to identify herbs in their wild state. And so sometimes what I'll do is after doing this 60 minutes, because we wanted it to be a live presentation, but it was kind of difficult for us to do that. And so hold on.
Hey guys, it's raining. My phone is getting wet. I'm actually risking.
All right, so that's a video that I intend to share with you. So if you're watching me on TikTok, guys, jump over to our YouTube channel. It's at Dr. Ben, that's DrBenICM TV. So that's at DrBenICM TV. Because I'm going to share with you some videos that I won't be able to share with you on TikTok. All right, but so I was visiting my friend Sean. I was doing the series there. So the series is actually up on our channel, but I wasn't able to do the review show. So while I was there, I actually saw a fruit. I didn't know the fruit. Nobody has ever told me about the fruit. And I decided that I was going to taste it. When I tasted it, it tasted like a mixture of banana and papaya. And I did a video, which I'm going to share with you in a little while. I did a video stating that I will share with you what this fruit is as soon as I knew what it was. So there's an app that I have, and I use the app, and nothing came up. I came back to Jamaica, and a client came into my office, gave me 2 books. So one of the books I'm going to share with you. And this book actually allowed me, this book was about that fruit. And this book has compelling evidence that this plant is maybe 10 times more powerful than soursop in terms of fighting cancer. The book that I'm going to share with you the video in a little while, but I wanted to share with you the book. I'm going to talk about the book. So this herb that I found was actually on Indian territory. And when I heard about this book, this herb was actually found on Indian territory. And what I found out about this herb is that it's maybe 10 times more powerful than graviola. It's a cousin of soursop. It's actually a cousin to soursop. And it's 10 times more effective in fighting cancer. And so I want to share with you this particular fruit and explain to you almost why this fruit is completely unheard of or unknown. This is a fruit that has not been, it has not been able, they have not been able to commercialize it, and I'll tell you why. So almost nobody will know this fruit except if they were at the tree picking it and eating it. Almost nobody would know this fruit. So this fruit is the author of the book shares with us how this particular fruit or the leaves from this particular plant has been used effectively in dealing with skin cancer and even with cancer, and even for persons who have chemo and so on. I'll tell you about the book. I want you to share this live with somebody, because and then after that we're gonna go into the herbs. We're gonna go into the herbs. So if you're watching me on TikTok, you may want to run over to our YouTube channel. It's at DrBenICM TV. Alright, so let me share with you the video about this particular fruit. So you want to jump over to my YouTube channel?
I'm getting my camera damaged by doing this video, but I just found this.
Hold on.
Hey guys, it's raining. My phone is getting wet. I'm actually risking getting my camera damaged by doing this video. I just found this this fruit. I don't know what it is. I just tasted it and I'm telling you, it is phenomenal. So I'm going to be researching to find out what this is. I'm going to tell you why I actually went ahead and ate it. Smells really good. I'll try my best to describe it. I'll think about it, and then I'll try my utmost best to describe it, what it is, what it tastes like. But believe me, it tastes really good. I actually just found it on the way back coming out of the rain. So as you can see, it's raining right now, but I really wanted to share this with you. This to me is a treasure. So I have two fruits. I'm definitely going to bring, this is a green one. Let me show you. So this is green, but this is ripe. Right? So I'm going to be bringing back these with me to Jamaica, because this is a wild fruit. You wouldn't typically find this in a supermarket or a shop, but it tastes really good. So far I can tell you, it tastes somewhat like custard apple. Let me just open it and show you. Just open it and show you what it looks like. So this is what it looks like. It's kind of orange. I've eaten one already. So
yeah.
I don't know if there's anybody watching that knows this fruit, but it tastes really good.
Alright, let me just pause here. So guys, if you're joining me on TikTok, I'm actually showing a video. about a fruit that I was tasting for the absolute first time. Didn't know about this fruit, and I'll tell you why I was brave enough to taste that fruit. So I wanted to jump on over to my YouTube channel. It's at DrBenICM TV, and I want so you can watch the video, so you can follow us, because I'm going to be showing some herbs. And one of the reasons why I'm doing this live is because I'm looking for 12,000 peaches. It's called our 12 by 12 by 12 herbal initiative, and what it is basically is to teach 12,000 people 120 herbs by the 12th month, absolutely free. And so what I want to do is I want to talk about this this fruit that I'm tasting for the absolute first time. Didn't know what it was. So let me just play the video again. For those of you who haven't seen it, I want you to jump on over to our YouTube channel, where you can follow us, and everything can make sense. So this fruit that I'm tasting, somebody came to my office. Well, I met somebody came to my office and gave me two books. One of the book was about this fruit that I'm tasting for the first time in my life. And I'll tell you why I saw something for the first time and tasted it. I'll tell you how how nature allows me to do that. And how you can do that too. So I saw the fruit. I was actually I just finished filming the 60 Minutes with Mother Nature series because it was raining. So I was coming out of the rain. So while coming out of the rain, I saw this shrub, and I saw this fruit, and when I took it up and smell it, I knew that it was edible because nature has a way of talking to us, and sometimes when nature tells you that something is ready. Oh, wonderful. Love by God is saying, Dr. Ben, I'm still doing the 30 days affirmation. Love, I want you, I'm going to give you my number. I want you to reach out to me because I want you to share that affirmation. I'm segueing for a bit, guys. On Tuesday, I'm putting out another one. And this affirmation, this 30-day affirmation that you're repeating, I shared it with many persons. Many persons. And I was talking to somebody, and I remember I shared it in one congregational setting, and I knew of an entire family that got their visa using this 30-day this affirmation. I knew of another gentleman and his wife, who got their visa. It's not about health. It's about using the power of the mind. I call it mind medicine. It's about knowing how to use the mind to heal the body and also to alter your reality. And so I really want to hear, because I guarantee you, you're going to have a positive story to tell as to what this affirmation has done for you. If you followed the steps that I outlined in the video, I guarantee you are going to have a remarkable story to share. Alright, so let me play the video again. So those of you who are watching us on TikTok, joining us on TikTok, please run over to our YouTube channel. It's at DrBenICM TV. I'm going to play the video again from the top.
Hey guys, it's raining. My phone is getting wet. I'm actually risking getting my camera damaged by doing this video, but I just found this this fruit. I don't know what it is. I just tasted it, and I'm telling you, it is phenomenal. So I'm going to be researching to find out what this is. I'm going to tell you why I actually went ahead and ate it. Smells really good. I'll try my best to describe it. I'll think about it, and then I'll try my utmost best to describe it, what it is, what it tastes like. But believe me, it tastes really good. I actually just found it on the way back coming out of the rain. So as you can see, it's raining right now, but I really wanted to share this with you. This to me is a treasure. So I have two fruits. I'm definitely going to bring, this is a green one. Let me show you. So this is green, but this is ripe. All right. So I'm going to be bringing back these with me to Jamaica, because this is a wild fruit. You wouldn't typically find this in a supermarket or a shop, but it tastes really good. So far, I can tell you it tastes somewhat like custard apple. Let me just open it and show you. Just open it and show you what it looks like. So this is what it looks like. It's kind of orange. I've eaten one already. So I don't know if anybody watching that knows this fruit, but it tastes really good. It's creamy like custard apple. It tastes. It has a custard apple texture, but I'm sure the seeds. This is the seed. If there's anybody watching that knows this fruit, then please share it on the description. But
Okay, so it tastes someone like a cocoa. That's sour, it's sweet. Tastes like custard apple. Um, what should I say now? But it has a very nice flavor, very nice taste. This is what the plant looks like. So I'm gonna do some research. I want you to follow me. I'm gonna share with you exactly what this fruit is that I found in Kissimmee, Florida. All right, let me go to this rain. All right, guys. So that was the plant that I found when I was in Kissimmee. So big up Sean Lennon. I was at Sean's house. Did a herb walk. And Kissimmee, by the way, is an Indian settlement territory. And when I saw the plant, when I saw the fruit, how did I know it was edible? Because when things are edible, I mean things are pretty much ready to be eaten, nature has a way of telling us. One of the ways that nature does that is from the smell. So I smelled it and it smelled attractive. The bright yellow also told me that it was ready, it was right, it was attractive. And the third thing is that I know that in order to be poisoned by anything in nature, you really need to consume a large enough amount. And usually when you taste it, it has deterrence to tell you that it's not edible. So I knew that it was edible and I ate it. I didn't know what it was. The person who came it didn't know what it was. And so I ate it, and after eating it, I even took back some seeds to Jamaica and I vowed to find out. Kimmy, you are correct. That is exactly the pawpaw fruit. So Kimmy burst my bubble. So when I came back to Jamaica, I was given I was given this book by a client. If you can see it, it's entitled "Your Fourth Choice." Your fourth choice. So Kimmy, you need to tell me how you knew that was pawpaw, because in all of my life I have never heard. When I heard pawpaw, I thought he was talking about the papaya. I didn't even know that there was a fruit called pawpaw. And so I was given this book. It's called The Fourth Choice, and this book is written by John Clifton. Right? The fourth choice. And it's called the fourth choice because usually when a person has cancer, they have three options. The medical system gives you three options. So one is chemotherapy, one is radiotherapy, and the third one is surgery. Right? So once you have cancer, these are the three choices that are recommended to you. 1, chemotherapy. 2, radiotherapy. And 3, cancer. So this gentleman, John Clifton, and by the way, I don't know him. I'd love to get him on the show. I don't know if he's alive. Let me see how old this book was done in 2015. It was published in 2015. So he may very well be alive. I don't know. But after reading this book, his wife, they were both advanced in years. And after reading it, his wife had cancer, and it was very difficult for him. And so they were looking for options. And as they were looking for options, they stumbled across pawpaw. Now, one of the reasons why a lot of persons have never heard about pawpaw is because it's not a plant or it's not a fruit that does very, very well as it relates to being shipped. Right? Doesn't do very well as it relates to being shipped. And so you won't see it in the supermarket. The only way you will most people will ever taste this fruit is unless they know somebody who has a tree. And John Clifton goes into a lot about the research that has been done on the pawpaw. By the way, pawpaw was a fruit that is used a lot by the American Indians. It's a indigenous, it's a wild fruit. And pawpaw, I want to drink Green Dean. Okay, so Kimmy says she learned about it from watching Green Dean, a Florida forager, right? So it's a wild edible fruit, and it's no wonder that this fruit, it's from the same tropical. It's not a tropical plant, but it's from the same family as our soursop, or what they call graviola. Now, studies have been done on the pawpaw, and it is said that this herb is 10 times more powerful than soursop in fighting cancer. 10 times more powerful. And this is a wild fruit. If you've been watching my videos, you will hear me talking about the fact that all foods or all fruits are not created equal. Right? All fruits are not created equal. The fruits and the food that we find in nature are far more powerful than the ones that have been commercialized. And one of the ways that you can test this hypothesis or test this theory is you can get any of the what we call vegetables like pak choy or cabbage, and you can try to plant them in the wild and see what happens to them. Because one of the reasons why pawpaw and wild foods like these are so powerful is because they're able to protect themselves. They're able to protect themselves, and they're able to reproduce themselves. And so the fact that they haven't gone extinct means that they have something that the domestic vegetables wouldn't have, and that is, of course, is intelligence. That intelligence is what your body also needs, along with the nutrients in the plants, to help your body to heal itself. So one of the reasons why pawpaw, this fruit, let me see if I can find a picture. Well, I have a picture, but not now. But if you watch the video, it tastes like a blend between mango and ripe banana, right? It's a blend between ripe banana and mango. So it's a very, very nice fruit, and it's very pleasant tasting. And the leaves from the pawpaw tree have been used extensively. A lot of tests have been done on them, and the findings are that it is 10 times more powerful than soursop. So for persons who are, and so John Clifton calls it the fourth choice. For those persons who know about chemo and radiation and surgery, John Clifton is saying that the power of this herb makes it the fourth choice in fighting cancer. And so I don't believe it was an accident for me to stumble upon that plant. And I'm elated and I'm excited because I tried to do the video presentation, or I tried to do the review rather of that particular herb, and you know, while trying to do the review, I kept on, the video kept on being stuck. And so, you know, the scripture says be anxious for nothing. And so I'm happy to report that while I'm going to be reviewing the video tonight, looking at those herbs that we saw in Kissimmee, I could start out the review tonight by looking at this fruit that I didn't know, that I can now report wasn't just a wild fruit with no history, but it is actually a fruit that lots of studies have been done on it, and it has been proven to be an effective arsenal against fighting cancer. So that John Clifton has written a book about it entitled The Fourth Choice. And so I'm really excited about that because so many persons out there are being plagued by this disease, and you know, while they are being plagued by this disease, they are scuffling all over looking for some type of treatment that for many is affordable but also natural. So I'm really excited to be able to share this tonight. Alright, so tonight, as I said, it's a review show. So for those of you who are watching us on TikTok, you can jump on over to our YouTube channel, and we're going to be reviewing this herb. Hey Herbert, how you doing? Nice to have you. Nice to have you, Herbert. Nice to have you. So please, we're gonna review. We started twice, and this the system prevented us from completing that review, but tonight we're gonna do just that. So let me start out with our 60 minutes. This is the last 60 minutes video that we did. Alright, so let's go.
Guys, I can't believe this. Look at what we found.
Wow. Guys, do you know what this herb is? My goodness. And look at the amount of it that is. Hey guys, good morning, good morning, good morning. Want to welcome you to another edition of 60 Minutes with Mother Nature. So I'm coming to you from Kissimmee. I'm at my friend's house, and this is where we're actually going to be doing our herb walk from today. As you know, in order to do this herb walk, guys, you're going to need a copy of our chart. Also, you're going to need a copy of our diary so that you can record. And guys, if these herb walks are a blessing to you, when you purchase these tools, not only are they tools that help you to better record and to document what's happening, it's also one way of supporting me and allowing me to do what I do. All right, so today we're going to be looking at some herbs here. We're going to be looking at the herbs that repeat themselves first of all, and then I don't know how much we're going to see. I'm also pressed for time, so we're going to see how many herbs that are repeating themselves here, and you know, use that, assess that to determine basically what is the diseases that are going to be common in this particular area. So get out your pens and your notebook and let's go. Alright guys, so before we go into today's video, I wanted to share some interesting history that I dug up about the area that I'm going to be featuring today. So as I said to you, you know, I'm being hosted by my friend Sean, and I was curious to find out what type of plants and what medicinal benefits were available in the plants found in the area today. And so my curiosity really began with just the name of the place, Kissimmee, very unusual name. And so I went and I started to do some research, and what I found was quite interesting. So the name Kissimmee is thought to have come from the Jororo language, and it may mean long river, which is in reference to the Kissimmee River and its headwaters. Now, Kissimmee is situated in the heart of the Osceola County, which is pretty much central Florida, and it has a rich history that spans centuries, beginning with its earliest inhabitants, the Native American tribes. Now, these indigenous people, their way of life and their medicinal practices laid the foundational cultural and historical layers upon which modern Kissimmee was built. Now, in the 18th century, the Seminole tribe was identified as the distinct tribal group in this area, and they're primarily composed of Creek Indians from Georgia and Alabama who migrated into Florida. They were joined by other Native Americans, including remnants of earlier Florida tribes such as the Appalachee and the Tamoka, as well as African Americans who had escaped slavery. The Seminoles were known for their adaptability, resilience, and ability to live harmoniously with the land. They settled in the Kissimmee area, which provided rich resources and a strategic location. The Kissimmee River, essential for transportation and sustenance, played a central role in their daily life. All right, guys, so here we are. So we're looking at the expanse. As you can see, there's not many varieties, there are not many options, but we still want to look and see what's available. All right, so one of the first plant, because this by the way, this soil here is very sandy. As you saw from our overhead shot, that there were a lot of sandy dunes, and because of that, it can get very dry. So one of the plants that I see here a lot are these prickly pear cactus. All right, and so these are here a lot, and of course this is a plant that has a lot of fluid. It's growing in the sun because it's hot, and the prickly pear is good for inflammation because it's soothing, it's cool, so it's very good for illnesses related to dehydration,
inflammation from the heat. We see this plant.
All right, so that's the first plant. Hey, Nifty. Nifty friends, natural Herbert. Hey guys. All right, so this is the first plant you want to look on. Now, as I said, it's very important that we pay attention to these herbs that are found in nature. And as I said, that I'm teaching you about these herbs in their natural habitat. There's a chart that I would love for you to get. If you're joining me for the first time, if you haven't got the chart, I really would encourage you to get a copy of the chart in the diary. So there's a chart, I don't have mine with me, and a diary that I encourage you to get. Now here's what happens. The goal is to help persons to learn 120 herbs, and preferably I want you to learn 120 herbs in your immediate circle, in your immediate setting. The idea is that if you were to get sick, because even though Jamaican herbs are so powerful, the thing is, if you were to get sick in a crisis, Because what I'm sharing with you is knowledge to empower you for the crisis that is to come. And so the next great world crisis is going to be a food and medicine crisis. That's why I'm doing this, and I'm doing it for free, absolutely free. Because we live in a society now where we no longer forage for our food or hunt our food. Our food is as close as the next aisle in the supermarket. There's nothing wrong with that. But what I want persons to understand is that if there was a crisis, would you be equipped to go into nature and feed yourself and your family? If there was a crisis and there was no pharmacy nor doctor around, are you equipped enough to go into the wild and use the medicines there to help yourself and your family? This is what this is about. This is the reason why I'm doing this for free, because I believe that this knowledge is too urgent. This knowledge is too critical to exclude persons simply on the basis that they don't have the money to pay to get it. I believe that this knowledge is too common, or is so common and important, that anybody who is not able to pay should not be prevented from getting it. So that's why I'm doing it free. So I'm looking for 12,000 people to teach this for free. The hope is that these 12,000 persons will now help to proliferate this knowledge. And so, if it is that you are not in Jamaica to use some of the powerful herbs that we have here, the idea is for you to learn to identify and to know the use of the herbs that you have around you in your immediate circle. So that is the reason why I recommend persons to get the diary, to begin that recording process, as well as the chart that we use to help you to be able to know how to identify the medicinal uses of these herbs. That is the reason why when I do these herb walks, I also spend a lot of time to identify and to clarify which of these herbs are not only medicinal, but in their tender stage are edible. Alright, so it's important that you understand this, guys. You know, we live in a time and in an age where once you get sick, you have the liberty to just go to a doctor or to go to a healthcare provider. But what happens in a crisis but you don't have access to? I tell persons, your health is your responsibility. And so one way of taking charge of your health is by becoming educated, by becoming empowered. I want you to share this video. Just share it with, we have 14 persons on. I want you to just share this with 3 persons. I'm going to go into the medicinal benefits, because what I do is that when I actually video the herbs, I try to focus on identifying. And tonight, it's Freedom says, Doc, can we purchase the chart? Can we purchase the chart and the diary directly from you? Yeah, they're on the video that I if you go to our YouTube channel, look for our videos. In this video, at the end of recording, the links will be in this video for you to purchase the chart and the book. But they're in most of my 60 minutes. If you go out and find any of my 60-minute videos, you'll find the links there. So I recommend that you get the chart and you get the diary. At the end of your recording process, my goal, what I really want, is the diary comes with 120 pages. And so at the end of the recording process, you would have been able to record and identify 120 herbs. So that diary now becomes your pharmacy, it now becomes your herba medica. It now becomes your go-to book that you go to when you are sick or when somebody else is sick. And as I'm saying to you, that a lot of persons take it for granted that they have liberty now to do what they're doing, but there's a time coming when that liberty is going to be taken. There's a time coming when content like these will not be allowed. There's a time coming when material and information like this will not be allowed. And so this is very important. There are two sobering things in life, you know. Two sobering things in life. Doesn't matter how busy you are. Doesn't matter how distracted you are. I know some of us have business to run. We have everything to do. But I'm telling you that there are two sobering moments in our life, and you know, because of what I do, I interact with a lot of sick people. There are two sobering moments in your life. One is when you go to the funeral or when you hear somebody is dead. You suddenly realize that you also can die. And the second one is when you find out that you are sick. You know, when you really, I'm not talking about when you find out that you catch a cold. I'm talking about you are busy going to school on the last leg of finishing your degree or your academic pursuit. You're expanding your business. You're just married or you're getting married. And you realize that you have a terminal illness. The minute you hear that everything stops, it's almost as if time stops. I want you to just listen to what I'm saying. This is the reason why I do this. Because almost every day, somebody like that comes before me. And I think about not just what medicine I can tell them to take or how I can guide them as it relates to their health. But what comes to my mind is, how could I rewind the clock? Or what could I do? Or what is the best or the most effective way of helping this person? Or if I had the power to rewind the clock, what would be that one thing that I would teach somebody who is in a position like this? And it's never about what herbs to take. It's never about what foods to eat. It's always about teaching them. It's always about imparting the knowledge to equip and to empower that person that they are able to take charge of their health. Once you hear that word that you have a terminal illness, you immediately begin to scramble, and you are willing all of a sudden to try everything that is out there. And let me tell you, I've seen some persons tried some really dumb stuff. I remember we had a client, and this particular client had cancer in the lower part of his body. His legs were swollen, and he couldn't walk. He was gainfully employed, was taking care of his family, and then he heard that he had cancer, and he heard so many Yvonne says she's on her trampoline, right? He heard so many things, and one of the things that he heard, because at this point in time he had these ulcers, these blisters that would come up, and they would burst and they would become sores, they would become ulcers. And one of the things that he heard, and we laughed, my wife and I, we laughed, but it's not something to laugh about, because it's just to show you what people will do when they're desperate. One of the things that was told to him was that he was to bury himself. And so he went and he dug a hole and he buried himself up to his waist in the dirt. was there for days. Not days, sorry. He was there for hours. We laughed at the time. Because he was telling me that, he said, Doc, when I came out, I got worse. And that used to show you how, when people are desperate, what they will do to get better. And so, when I roll back the curtains and I ask myself, what is it that I would have, what if that one thing, if I could do one thing right now to help some of these persons who come and sit before me, and trust me, we see rich people, we see poor people, we see married persons, we see single persons, we see, I mean, disease, sickness has no respect. What is that one thing that if I could do, and this was what came to my mind, educating persons, and it has been one of the most difficult and daunting tasks to get persons to take their health seriously. Most people start to take their health seriously after the fact, after they get sick. And so, doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter what you have, when you get sick, nothing matters. And so, one of the most powerful tools I could ever equip anybody with is by helping them to get a book and sharing with them the knowledge that I have, so that they'll be empowered to use it when the time comes. And the best time to learn, the best time to get that knowledge, the best time to get that information is when you're not sick, guys. You know, today I saw about 5 persons, and one of the persons, you know, their health has declined because they just changed their lifestyle for the worse. So, what I'm doing is I'm trying to impart to persons this knowledge, and I want to do it absolutely free, without a dollar. Because the most, not one of, the most important responsibility that you have is your health. And so we looked at the first herb, which is the prickly pear, the cactus, sorry. And this is a plant that grows in temperate regions where it's hot. And prickly pear, we have a version here called tuna. It's not the same as a prickly pear that grows in Florida in the sand, but it's because that prickly pear, the thorns are much larger. Right? They're much larger and can do far more damage than the one that we call tuna here. But they're cousins. They're related. The prickly pear, it grows in the wild. It's a wild, edible, not just herb, but it's a wild food. It's edible. It is delicious. Medicinally, prickly pear lowers blood sugar. So if you're living in the Florida area, this is a herb that if you're diabetic, it helps by lowering blood sugar levels, by reducing how much the stomach absorbs sugar and fiber. So that's how it helps diabetes. So those of you who are watching, if you're in the Florida area and you're diabetic, this is a herb, and I'll tell you how you use it. Tell you how you use it. So it's effective, or traditionally, I should say, it has been used for lowering blood sugar levels, and it does that by absorbing the sugar out of your stomach. Traditionally, it's also used for high cholesterol. Alright? So, prickly pear cactus may lower unhealthy cholesterol levels. Alright, so if you're having high cholesterol, this is a vegetable that you can cook. You can eat it as a stir-fried vegetable. You can just get it, wash it, cut it up, add your onions, your scallions, all your different herbs to it, and you can just eat it as a vegetable. That's a one way of doing it. So it helps with diabetes, it helps with hypertension, it also helps with heart disease. So it helps to, traditionally it has been used as a natural alternative for preventing heart disease. Because it is mucilaginous, or because it is, what's word? Mucilaginous, it has mucilage, it has a lot of slime. It's also good for the stomach. It also has a lot of digestible fiber, and it can help with digestion. Because it's also mucilaginous, it helps with dealing with inflammation, especially burns. And moreover, native Indians in southwest United States and Mexico would use the raw pods of the prickly pear cactus to treat burns. So, can you imagine? This is a plant that grows wild in these temperate regions where persons would be burnt easily. This is a herb that was used. Just cut it and apply it to the area, even for persons who have been burnt not only by the sun but by any device. If you are burned, you can just apply it, and it helps to get rid of it. It actually pulls the heat out of the affected tissues, and helps with giving relief and soothing and so on. It can also be used for the scalp, for persons who may have dermatitis or psoriasis, and sometimes they itch. Once you have burning on your hand, in your scalp, you can just get the tuna, the prickly pear, and you can add it, and it helps with that as well. So very, very powerful herb. If you taste it, it tastes like it has a neutral taste. But here in Jamaica, we use the tuna for back pain. We get it, and we just cut it, and we soak it in coconut water, and we consume it, and it helps with with back pain, and for persons who have back pain injury. It's a powerful remedy for that. All right. So let's move on to our next herb.
A lot here.
Let me just show you. When we walk, you'll see it. It's almost growing everywhere. This is actually the gay feather. All right. It's a herb called gay feather, and this is a herb that helps with inflammation. Later on, I'll talk more about how the Cherokee Indians use this herb. All right, so this is a herb that's good for inflammation. So another plant that's also seen a lot here is a plant that's good for inflammation. We see a lot of this plant as well. All that sorry. All right, so that was our look on gay feather. So I was with Natural Life, and so Natural Life has a channel. So if you can check out her channel, I did a video with her today, and Freedom says I have used the. Oh, let me add it to the screen. Freedom says I've used the cactus family for bike burns, and it definitely made a difference. It reduced the throbbing and pressure and didn't leave a scar. I should have said that to Freedom, very importantly. But one of the beauties about the cactus is that when you use it for burns, it does not leave a scar, right? It heals the flesh so wonderfully. I should also say that it's also prickly pear is said to have antiviral and anti-inflammatory properties. Also anti-clotting properties, and so it contains a number of compounds and proteins that may help fight cancer and heart disease. So this is a herb that also is beneficial in that respect. And so the prickly pear is used in a number of skincare products, It's used for moisturizing, cleansing, as well as hydrating, and providing antioxidants for the skin. So this is, you know, a very, very powerful herb. As I said, it's also a vegetable, so it can be eaten. All right. So let's talk about our next herb. It's called gay feather, and it's also known as liatris. It's also known as liatris, and it's a herb that was used by the native Indians, and it was used for treating inflammation. All right, and what they used to do was that they used to get the roots and they would boil it and they would use it to reduce swelling, and so they also powdered the roots and apply it as a poultice. So they would get the root of the gay feather, they would put it in a mortar and pound it. What we would do now is that we would dry it, and after it's dried, we would use a blender to blend it dry as a dry powder, and then you can use that as a poultice on inflammation, and it helps very well. There was also some Indian tribes that use it for abdominal issues, and so what they would do is that they would make it into a tea, and they would boil the leaves or the root together and feed it to children who had diarrhea. So it was used for dysentery, it was used for diarrhea, it was used for a number of ailments, and it was very beneficial in that respect. So that's the gay feather. So if you're taking notes, guys, that should have been about two herbs. And I said these are herbs in Florida, because what happened is that one reason I travel and do these videos is because if you're in Florida, you really want to be more knowledgeable about the herbs that are around you, that you directly have access to. If you're in Jamaica, that's how we do videos from different herbs in different places, because you want to be able to be knowledgeable as it relates to the herbs that you have contact to. And this is also one reason why there is no mono healer in nature. So our Creator believes in variety. So every ailment that we can show a herb for in Jamaica, there is an equivalent herb in China, in Japan, in America, in Canada, all over the world. Echo Vibes is asking, what does dead and wake good for? What is dead and wake good for? Or we call that Mimosa pudica or Shea Me Darling. Shea Me Darling has many benefits. It's antibacterial, it's antiviral, and it's also depending on which part. And guys, I should say that if you have questions, if you have any questions, you can ask them. And if you have any questions, you can ask them. This is a natural alternative life. If you have any questions, you can ask them, and I will answer them. Whatever health issues you have, I'll answer them, but I'll answer them in a general sense, because I'll answer them in a general sense, because that's how I have to answer it, because I'm not talking to you to know enough to really answer it in a personal way. Alright? So dead and wake or Mimosa pudica, let me just tell you some of the benefits. So it's antibacterial, it's antiviral, so it's good for diarrhea, it's good for dysentery, it's good for men. It's good because it's a tonic. I'm going to answer your question. Freedom says, Doc, lots of mango trees in Central Florida. What can the leaves be used for? I'm going to answer your question. Let me answer Echo Vibes. So Echo Vibes, for men, it's an excellent stimulant. It helps with erectile dysfunction. It's also good for the teeth. Alright? It's also good for the teeth. It's good for as a painkiller. It's good as a sedative. It helps to rest the nerves. I mean, there's just so many benefits. I think I've done a video talking about, if you go back, we did a series on what we call dead and wake or Mimosa pudica. Alright? But that's just to give you an idea as to some of the benefits of that. That's lots of mango trees in Central Florida. What can the leaves be used for? So traditionally, mango leaves have been used to lower high blood pressure. All right, it's been used to lower high blood pressure. Natural life said, then I wake up, man, laziness. Yeah. So it's for persons who have hypertension. It's pretty good for that. It's also good for persons who may be having certain belly aches. Persons belly ache due to bacterial infections and so on. It's also very good for that. Know Thyself says, do the herbs have to be fresh? What about dried? Live far away. When you live far away, when you're going to use herbs, because herbs are either medicinal or what we call therapeutic, or in its therapeutic form, or it's nutritional. Alright? So, if it is that you're going to be using it medicinally, it's always best to dry it. Why? Because when it is green, when it becomes medicinal, that medicine is the result of chemicals who would have become increased, or chemicals found at a certain level that in its green form they may be toxic for the liver. So you want to dry them so that those toxic forms can leave the plant, so that it doesn't put any strain on your liver. Alright? Usually when the plant is young and tender, those toxic chemicals are not in the amount that it should be to affect you. Alright? So hope that answers your question. Alright, so far we've looked at two plants. We've looked at the prickly pear and we looked at the gay feather. And these are plants that are found, plants that we're looking at that are found in Kissimmee. The Cherokee Indians also used to use the gay feather, and they used it as what we call an analgesic or a painkiller. And so they used it for persons who had pain in their backs as well as their limbs, and the roots were ground and used as a pain reliever for headache, for arthritis, and for earache. Sorry. So the gay feather was dried and it was powdered and it was used like that. It was also used to treat kidney problems, bladder problems, colic, sore throats, gonorrhea, and fevers. So that is how this particular plant that we just looked at, plant number 2, that is how it was used. Freedom says, I have lots of net and Spanish needle and a type of ginseng in my garden. What are they used for, and can I dry them for future use? Yes, you should dry them. Spanish needle is a food, we've covered that. Spanish needle is edible. It's a food when it's young and tender, and as it gets matured, it helps to break up tumors. It helps to mineralize the body. It has lots of iron. The ginseng is basically energy. It helps to increase blood flow to the brain. So these and the fact that you say you find it in your yard, freedom. Most times, the thing I do is, most times the plants that are found in somebody's yard is usually beneficial to members of that household. So look into it. All right. Green that we're seeing is a plant that grows a yellow flower, right? So it grows a yellow flower. The flowers are pretty small, but I'm gonna try and see if I can get a, oh, there's a good view of the flower. And this plant has a very good aroma, very good aroma. All right, very. It's also it's definitely an aromatic. The leaves are thick. I'm gonna go ahead and taste this because right behind me here there's not a lot of persons. So I'm tasting a lot of aroma. Doesn't taste bad, so I'm sure this would make a nice tea. I'm sure this would make a great tea. All right, so let me see if I can find. So here are some with flowers, and this plant is called the camphor daisy. All right, so it's called the camphor daisy. That plant used by the Cherokee Indians, used for inflammation. It's used. It helps with circulation.
And what we're seeing is just a repeat of that. So lots of camphor daisies. You know, this is another plant that could be very good for kidney issues as well. We see a lot of cactus. A lot of cactus.
All right, so that is plant number 3. Plant number 3, and it is called the camphor daisy. And camphor daisy was used by the American Indians for a number of mouth conditions. It was used as a gargle for conditions like mouth sores or cankers inside the mouth. It was used for pharyngitis, which is an inflammation of the pharynx. It was used for laryngitis as well. It was used for a number of skin conditions. So bacterial skin conditions that are caused by the Staphylococcus aureus or the Escherichia coli, the E. coli, and the Candida albicans. So a number of skin conditions that are UTIs that were caused by the Staphylococcus bacteria or the E. coli or the Candida albicans bacteria. This herb was exceptionally beneficial for that. So you could basically just make a tea and you could use it. It was used for foot injuries, ulcers, diarrheas, fatigue, and it was also even used for the common flu. And so this was a plant that was used a lot by the American Indians, and we can see that it is growing wild. It's growing wild there in Florida, and everywhere I looked, and everywhere I looked, I could just see this plant, and this was just telling me that this was some of the conditions. I never got a chance to verify that, but most places that I go, the plants that we find growing in abundance speaks to the diseases that are common in that area. Alright, so that's plant number 3. Alright, let's move to plant number 4. Growing everywhere. There's not a lot of trees, but there's some old man beard, which is a lichen. So let me show you that. So we have the gay feathers, we have the prickly cactus, and apart from that we have lots of old man beard. As you know, old man beard is a lichen that is very good for, this is a plant that grows in cold temperatures. It likes cold temperature. It's also found in Jamaica. It's mostly found in the Blue Mountains. It's mostly found in the Blue Mountains, and it likes high elevation because it's good for the lungs. It's good for respiratory related health conditions. This was traditionally used for that by the Indians here. I'm going to show you another plant that I see growing in my friend Sean's yard. Sorry, all right, so that was the old man's beard. All right, but before I talk about the benefits of the old man beard, let me just respond to Know Thyself. She has a Note that as a question. When is the best time to pick herbs above ground? Number one. And then number two, does it change intensity of effect? So let me answer number one. Yes, the best time to pick herbs above the ground is during the new moon to the full moon. And you may ask why. Because here's what happened. The word menstruum, which is the word used to describe because what our ancestors used to do, one of the ways that our ancestors, one modes, the mediums, how our ancestors used to take herbs was they would make tinctures. Now the tinctures, another name for it was menstruum, or when they boil the herbs. When they boil the herbs, another way that they were referred to was menstruum. And the word menstruum sounds very similar to a word that most of us know. That's the word menstrual. So menstrual and menstruum share a common denominator. That common denominator is that both terms came from the moon. Why the moon? Because it is believed that, and I didn't believe, because this is not a fairy tale, it's a fact. The medicine in the plant is available in the plant in the form of a liquid, right? So when a plant is alive, if you cut that plant and you look and squeeze it, there's going to be liquid in the plant. Now once it has liquid, there is an astronomical object that has direct ruling or control over it. And that object is the moon. The moon has an effect on every liquid on the earth, including the ocean, including insects. Because what happens is that when the moon is in its new moon to its full moon state, which is like tonight, so tonight we're now in a new moon. This new moon will continue for 2 weeks. What happens is that while the moon is what we call waxing or increasing in size, that increase in size is going to have a direct gravitational pull on the earth as well as all the liquid on the earth. So what happens pretty much is that as the moon increases in size, what it does, what it tends to do is that it pulls the liquid in the plant to the surface. So any herb that is being harvested for use that is above the ground, which goes on to the second question, does it change the intensity of the effect? Any herb that is being used, any part of the herb above the ground that is being used, will have a higher concentration or intensity of the constituents in that herb. So let me say that again. Any herb part, leaf, stem, not root, leaf, stem, flower, any part of the flower above the earth that is going to be used will have a stronger potency simply because that increase in light intensity of the moon from new moon to full moon has a direct gravitational pull on the constituents in the plant. If you were to cut a plant and take a cross-section look at the plant, you will notice that a plant has two vascular systems. It has one that is called a phloem and it has what is called a xylem. One vascular system brings fluid from the root to the leaves, and one vascular system takes liquid from the leaves to the root. So this is typically what happens. So outside of reaping herbs based on the cycle of the moon, there's also the sun that affects plants. So the best time to harvest plants is the time during which the sun is rising, because as the sun is rising, that light intensity has a direct effect on the plant. So what happens is that the plant fluid in the root will leave and go to the leaves. When the sun is going to set, the liquid will leave the leaves back to the root. So there is a traffic of fluid or a traffic of medicine in the plant that directly determines its effectiveness. So, for example, you may have taken a plant and you said, oh, this herb did this for me. You heard what was done and you said, oh, I'm going to take the herb too. But maybe you harvested the herb at a time when the level or the intensity of the medicine was lower than when your friend harvested it. And so the result is going to be different because the intensity of the medicine or the available medicine is going to be different. Now, the inverse, know thyself, is also true. Because from the full moon to the last crescent, visible crescent, what happened is that the moon now begins to decrease in size. And this is also why they'll tell you don't harvest lumber during the full moon. Because even though we humans don't know this, I mean, this is no secret to any other living thing. Every other living creature is aware of this. Because that is the reason why the insects go into the tree, to burrow into the tree, to lay their eggs. Because at that time, which is from the full moon, from the new moon to the full moon, the tree is soft. And because of the life cycle of the offspring, which is usually about 15 days, or somewhere within 15 days, the insect goes because it knows that during that time of the moon cycle, the trees tend to be much softer. Not only that, but they have a lot more liquid in them. So it's easy to burrow into the bark, and they know that when they lay their eggs, or when they place their young there, because of the amount of sap in the plant, they know that their young ones will not die. They'll have food to eat. Not only that, but because their young ones are young and the tree is soft, they can feed at that time. So you didn't know that. Went and cut down this tree for lumber. Take it home. Guess what happened? Couple of days you see dozens of little holes in the tree with dust on the ground. Dozens of little tree. Is there significance in the spin clockwise or anti-clockwise? I'm going to answer that. I'm going to answer that too. So there's dust all over. And it's evidence that you didn't obey the laws of nature. Didn't harvest a tree after the full moon, because after the full moon, what happens now is that the light of the moon begins to diminish. So the moon now doesn't have a gravitational pull now, it has a gravitational push. Because it has a gravitational push, it means that there is a downward energy. If it is that you're going to harvest a herb, if it is that you're going to harvest the herb part below the ground, which is usually the root, the medicine's intensity is going to be much stronger. So that is the reason why we harvest herbs at certain times and we don't harvest herbs at certain times. And so know that self, is there a significance in the spin clockwise or anti-clockwise? And there is a significance, because clockwise is going in the right direction, right? And so the earth has the earth has, like a magnet, has poles. That's It has pull and push pull. It has gravitational pull, gravitational push. So it clockwise is right, anti-clockwise is wrong. Alright? We're gonna go into our next herb. When should I trim my fruit trees? You should try to trim your fruit trees freedom when they're not blossoming, or when they don't have any fruit on them. You shouldn't try to trim your trees when they have fruit or when they have blossom. You want to, for those of you who live in certain parts of the world, you want to do that during the fall when the tree goes into its dormant state. Alright? Let's see if we can move on to our next herb.
It says it's found way out. So
if we were to go way out into the marshlands, we would find it, but it's growing here, so I want to show you that. And this is a herb that is good, and it's funny because yesterday I did an assessment, and one of the persons that live here, and one of the persons that lives here, a lot of the herbs, all the herbs that we've looked at so far, we see that the herbs growing here are good for those conditions. All right, so I'm going to show you these two plants. Now, when you look in the grass, as you look in the grass, you can see that it's decorated. If you can see it, but it's decorated with some flowers. Now, it's growing in between the grass. You can see it. All right. Now, this is a very invasive herb. And it likes to grow in grasses, but it is medicinal. And this is called the Virginia buttonweed. All right, so it's called the Virginia buttonweed. Right, it has beautiful flowers, and this herb also is good for inflammation. As I said, guys, I
want you to come back this evening, so I'll reserve the medicinal use of these herbs for this evening. Join us at 7 p.m. on Sundays. We were going to review these herbs and I go more in depth into as it relates to the medicinal uses of them.
All right, so that was herb number 4, and that was herb number 5, the Virginia buttonweed, and it's mostly it's used for belly aches and so on. But that herb traditionally, it was mostly used as a pollinator. It attracted certain small, based on the flowers, it attracted insects, and it encouraged pollination. It is considered to be a weed, and so there's a lot of persons who do what they can to get it out of their garden, out of their grass, out of their lawn. All right, so let's move on to herb number 6. All right, so there's a herb that I wanted to share with you, and this is a herb that was also beneficial to persons living in the house. And let me find it and show you. So I saw one here, but there's actually a section of the yard where they are found in more abundance. All right, so it was growing right here. So let me go exactly where I know it is found in abundance. All right, so at this side of the house, there's a lot of marsh wetlands, and here we start to see it. And it's this herb with the round leaves. All right, this herb is called the marsh pennyworth. All right, marsh pennyworth, and it is also known as gotu kola. And this herb is very good for the brain, for persons who are having poor memory or poor concentration. Then this is the herb that you need. Poor memory, poor concentration, poor blood flow to the brain, then this is the herb that you need. So here we're having where the air condition is, where we have lots of water dripping. We have it here. And the inhabitants of the house, my friend Sean was telling me that he does a lot
to try to get rid of them. You can see that this is a natural habitat because, you know, the leaves are much bigger. You can see that the leaves are much more bigger. Let me come to this side where there's more water. Because there's more water here from this pipe. That it grows here more in abundance. So this is also telling us that this is a natural habitat. They also will grow on water. Right? It can be eaten as a vegetable as well. So you can make a salad from this. Right? But it helps to send oxygen to the brain. It helps to boost oxygen to the brain. As I said, pretty much there's.
Alright, so that's our look on the pennyworth. And this is a herb. It's also found in Jamaica. It's marsh pennyworth. It's found in Jamaica. I don't know. I have some right outside now. And this is a herb that grows wild. It's a vegetable. It can be eaten. It makes a nice salad. Medicinal, it is used for a number of skin conditions. You know, for example, acne, scars, eczema, ulcers. It's also used to dress burns. It contains a number of wound healing compounds such as tannins and flavonoids and volatile oils, which may help, which may cause it to help speed up the healing process. In countries like Malaya, it was traditionally used to treat wounds. And so this is a herb that has enjoyed a lot of, you know, it's used as a vegetable in some of these Asian countries. It's also used to treat arthritis traditionally, asthma, bronchitis. It's also traditionally used to treat liver problems. As a matter of fact, some persons call it the liver weed, right? Helps to detoxify the liver. And some persons believe that one of the reasons why it helps the brain so much is because it helps to detoxify the liver. It helps with headaches, it helps with dizziness and bloody stool. It also has been used as a natural remedy for anxiety and depression, and it is also used to improve cognitive function. So marsh pennyworth has a number of uses. Persons would also make a paste from the plant and apply it externally for wounds and boils. So, you know, very, very dynamic herb. Has a number of uses, and it grows, as I said, it grows here in Jamaica. That they call it dollar weed as well. I think it's the same weed. Yeah, it's called dollar weed as well. Freedom, because it looks like the $1 coin. It's called dollar weed. But just to show you how much you know, how much food is found abundantly around, because I said it is edible and it tastes pretty good too. Alright, it tastes pretty good. Alright, let's move to our next herb. Not a lot of herbs, not a lot of variations. Here is pretty much just a repeat of the same herbs. So let's go and let's look on another plant that I see, a herb that we're familiar with from in New York. Here we have a better look at the camphor daisy. All right, so that's it. And then we have, of course, this is the very famous sweet wormwood. This is what it looks like in its mature state. And of course, this herb grows in abundance in places like St. Elizabeth. All right, grows in abundance in places like St. Elizabeth. So the fact that this property was it was cleansed, it was prepared for these houses, means that a lot of the natural herbs that grow here were pretty much destroyed. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna try and go to the back. I'm gonna go to the back of the forest where that is undisturbed and see if I can show you some of those
herbs. Find out what are the herbs occurring down there repeatedly to help us find out what are the diseases that would naturally grow in this neck of the woods.
All right, so that's I believe it's plant number 7, sweet wormwood, and it's not new. In our last episode we spoke about it. We saw it in Florida, in New York, and it also grows here. It's also called mugwort, and it is promoted for a number of issues, such as irregular menstruation, high blood pressure. It's also used as a laxative. It's used for allergic reactions. It's used for miscarriage, and the list goes on and on. We spoke about it because of its extensive use. It became very famous. Artemisia became very famous because of its effectiveness against a number of flu-related infections. As a matter of fact, it was made very famous because of its effectiveness against the pandemic. Right? It's used a lot in traditional Chinese medicine. As a matter of fact, Artemisia, they made a drug from Artemisia called Artemisium, and this was used effectively for malaria. So you can go and do your research on it. Sweet wormwood, very powerful herb. We've looked at it in the past. I'm not going to spend the time going into the many benefits of sweet wormwood because there are many. So at this point in time, I realized that there weren't many variations of herbs because they had drenchified the land to set up this housing scheme. So if I wanted to find, if I wanted a good reflection of what was naturally occurring in that environment, I had to go to where they had not disturbed the land. And so that is what I did. And guys, this is what I found.
So let's go deeper. So right away I'm seeing lots of cluster pines. Now these cluster pines are pretty much used for, they're very high in oils and aromatics. So they're very useful for colds and flus, stuff like that. So that's what these pines are for. So we have lots of them growing here. One of the things that we also see is that there's a lot of sand. So I'm pretty much guessing that all of this at one point used to be under the ocean. All of this that we're seeing is basically land now, but this is central Florida. But this used to be under the sea. So, I would be very, very uncomfortable living here.
Alright, so the minute I went to the back of the property and started to look at those undisturbed areas, we started to get a true reflection of what was found naturally occurring in the area. And so one of the first thing we found was cluster pines. And pines are very, very effective in fighting a number of infections. Number one, they're very high in vitamin C and terpenes, which can boost the immune system and have antimicrobial and decongestant effects. So it helps with microbial infections such as cold and flu, and also helps with decongestant. If you notice, these are plants that thrive in cold regions. Always pay attention to the plants that is thriving, because the reason why they are thriving in that environment, guys, is because the plants have developed intelligence to be able to do so. That intelligence includes the ability to adjust and adapt to that environment. So there's a high chance that there is medicine in the plant for you who is also in that environment. Note thyself says, I'm puzzling here in the UK, so far from the tropics. Some ill health in some community relate to herbal mineral deficiencies. Definitely, because what happened, know thyself, is that when you live in those parts of the world, you don't get enough vitamin D, you don't get enough sunshine, and that also affects the body. So these plants, the cluster pines that we're looking at, they have lots of oils in them. The pine needle tea can help with coughs, it can help with colds, bronchitis, heart disease, varicose veins, skin complaints. It can help with fatigue. And so for persons who have asthma, COPD, Native American tribes use the bark decoction for coughs and cold, and as a poultice for cuts and wounds. So the bark of the pine was used for a number of bronchial related ailments. The sap of the pine can be used to treat wounds, bleeding, and also to treat rashes. So this is a very dynamic plant. When you see these pines, and also they're high in, I know in Jamaica, for example, the pines that are in Jamaica grow up in the Blue Mountain. They're very high in resveratrol for the heart. Anybody learning anything tonight? Sometimes I see know thyself. I see 14 people. I see freedom reacting. Know thyself. Anybody else learning anything? Anybody else have any question? That's what this live is about, the natural alternative live Q&A. So even though we're teaching you herbs, we also want to use the opportunity to answer the questions that persons may have. Alright, some persons are afraid sometimes to ask questions because it they may think persons may say, okay, that you're talking about themselves. When one method that I use in public formats like this is to say, and it doesn't matter, you can say my friend has, or someone that I know has such and such and such and such. Whether it's true or not, nobody will know. So the important thing is that you're getting your answer. Alright, so the pine is very effective. And as I said, guys, if you had the chart, all this is what we teach you on the chart. We teach you to know these things because these are principles that our ancestors used to determine the medicinal use of herbs. So the chart that you get, alright, I see echo vibes. So give me some feedback, guys. If you are learning anything, give me some thumbs up, man. If you're learning anything, give me some thumbs up so that I know people are not sleeping on me or they have left their devices on and they have gone about their business. It's good to have the interaction because this is how I know I'm not just sitting here and talking to the dead ear. Alright, so give me some feedback. Just give me some thumbs up. Let me know that you're learning. So Echo Vibes is on our YouTube, is on our Facebook page. That's where he's watching. Echo Vibes, if you have not yet subscribed, then you need to come on over to our YouTube channel. We need to get a chance. It's at DrBenICM TV. It's right below my name. It says at DrBenICM TV. Alright, calligraphy, thumbs up. Thank you, calligraphy. So I know that you're in the house. It's good to get some feedback. So I know that persons are watching. If you do get a chance, yeah, do go over to my YouTube channel, subscribe so that you can get the videos as soon as they come out. Like the video. It helps. Calligraphy says bless up. Alright, I see calligraphy. Anybody else learning anything? I assume persons are just have their devices on and they're gone about their business. Nobody else? Should I continue? I just did about 8 plants and I'm supposed to be looking at 14 plants tonight. Alright? I see calligraphy, thumbs up. Anybody else want to give us a thumbs up? Let me know that you are learning. Know thyself, say yes. All right, know thyself. Anybody else? Nifty, thumbs up. Thank you. So you are learning. Anybody else that's learning? Anybody else? Alright, so let's move on to our next plant. The next plant that we looked at. Alright?
Alright, so here's a plant that we see that's very unusual.
And this is a plant that is called the European sea heath. European sea heath. And this is a plant where there are some research being done for possible cosmetics slash diabetic, work, because it has been there are some compounds that have been isolated that have been found in it to be very effective against diabetes. These are herbs that pretty much are, somewhat of a at one time may have been sea vegetable. So this is an example of a plant that that has evolved. This would have been in the ocean, but now it is growing on land. And this is called
European sea heath. Very good for diabetes, and it is typically found in sand dunes. It loves sandy soil. Let me taste it. Let's see. Hold on. Taste it. See. I'm expecting it to be salty. So, very aromatic. Very aromatic. My goodness, this tastes really good. I taste a lot of astringency. So very aromatic. This would be very good in a salad. Very good in a salad. So let's go down and see what else we can find.
Alright, so that's plant number 9, the European sea heath. And I remember it had something like a frankincense flavor, and it was very astringent. So usually, based on the chart, we teach you how to taste the herbs. So I don't need to know the names of the herbs. I just need to experience them. And so by tasting it, that's how you get intimately involved with knowing the herbs. And so it had a very strong astringent taste and a very pungent flavor. And so it has antimicrobial properties. It's loaded with antioxidants. It's anti-diabetic. Traditionally, it was used for diabetes. It has what we call cytotoxic properties, which means that it is toxic to certain cells. To certain cells, it kills them, and that means that there's a potential that this is a herb that could be used for stuff like cancer. Dr. Ben, what calligraphy is saying? Dr. Ben, I downloaded your 3-hour plus videos. Lots of good info. Have to listen over and over into sinking. Okay. Alright, thank you, calligraphy. I thought you were gonna complain about the time, because I said, I really want to just share so much with persons. I used to do these as lives, but because of some of the places I had to go, the internet speed interrupted the presentation. So what I decided to do is to video upload and then do this review to give substance and clarification, and also to answer questions, because I did it as a live in the first place to get feedback. So I wasn't able to do that. Now I found a way out. So I do it live, then I review it, then I can answer questions. So this is a critical component of the class for me. Alright? So as I said, my goal is to teach 12,000 persons 120 herbs by the 12th month. And so I invite you to join me on the journey. to get the chart, get the book, and begin to join our KINDAH wellness group. And is everybody here a part of our KINDAH wellness community? By the way, it's on Telegram. There's a link to join in all of my videos. So if you go to all, especially my 60 minutes with Mother Nature, there's a link there to join our Telegram group, and that's where we actually, you know, do much more. At one point, I did a quiz. My workload is so heavy that I've not been able. What I wanted to do was, I wanted to prepare a quiz so that persons could test their knowledge base. I did one, but it takes a lot of time, and if I can grow my, if I can grow the group, and I can have somebody who can prepare questions for me, that would be so fabulous, because I really want it to be like a class, but I'm really pressed for time. I really want to have feedback and interaction with you guys, you know. So I really apologize for not following up with that, but it really takes a lot of time to sit down, watch the videos, and populate questions with you know, with answers. So, you know, that's something that you'd be interested in, let me know. Alright? Alright, so let's move on to our next plant.
Alright, so coming down off the hill, here's another herb that's you cross the dune, and this is a herb that is called the large clammy weed. Alright, it's a large clammy weed, and this is a herb that has been traditionally used by native Indians for abdomen or stomach pain. Alright, so they use for abdomen or stomach pain, and we are working our way down.
Alright, so that was the herb number 10, which is the clammy weed, the large clammy weed. And as I said, the American Indians use this particular herb for a number of healing purposes. What they would do is that they would get the whole plant, ground the whole plant, and mix it with water for a drink, and they would consume it. They would also chew the root and blossom and apply them to the body medicinally. So the clammy weed, the large clammy weed, that is how it was used. All right, so we're coming to a close. We're going to herb number 11, and we're reviewing about 14 herbs tonight. So let's go.
Rush grass on our property, and if you go back to our videos, you'll see we have rush grass. So these are needle pods. Alright, let me give you a close up. So these are needle pods, rush grass, and rush grass is mostly used domestically. So it's a nice, beautiful patch of rush grass, and this grass is used mostly for making mats. So this was mostly used domestically by our.
Alright, so that's the rush grass, and as I said, we have a variety on our property here in Jamaica, and but it does have a number of medicinal properties, even though it was used mostly for domestic issues. So it was used for stuff like sore throat, jaundice. It was used for edema, which is swelling. It was used for acute urinary tract infections. It was used for insomnia, persons who had problems sleeping, and it was used for fever sores or sore throat. So it was also a very mild sedative for persons having sleeping problems. It was used for that. So it has a number of medicinal uses, at least traditional medicinal uses. So that grass that is growing wild on the property there in Kissimmee had many medicinal uses. Alright, let's move on to our next plant.
Ancestors, but it does have medicinal use. It's used for abdomen related issues, for stomach related issues, and as I said, I want you guys to stay tuned. You're going to be amazed at some of the benefits of these herbs. I'm going to go in depth into the benefits of these herbs on our live review. I want you guys to join me, so I want to keep you guys so interested and fascinated that you join me later on for the live. But this is the large rush grass. It looks like the different rush grass that we have in Jamaica. The leaves are furry, so it has lots of hair. Alright? But what we want to do is we want to see if we can find our way over there. Alright? Let's see if we can find our way over there. Alright, so let's work our way over. Now here's another herb. Guys, I can't believe this. Look at what we found. Wow. Guys, do you know what this herb is? My goodness. Look at the amount of it that is here. This is the famous St. John's wort. St. John's wort. This is one of the most powerful herbs for depression and insomnia and mental related illnesses. This is a famous St. John's wort, and I'll be going more in depth as to the benefits of St. John's wort. Look at the amount of St. John's wort that we found here, guys. But let's see if we can make our way over to that side of the property where there has not been any land clearage as yet.
Alright, so that is actually St. John's wort cousin, not the St. John's wort, the Hypericum perforatum. That's actually a cousin of St. John's wort. But it's also called St. John's wort. So a common name, but not officially the Hypericum perforatum, which is what is botanically known as St. John's wort. But this is a herb that was similarly used. Was used similar to St. John's wort, and it was used on mood disorders. This herb is so powerful that it was primarily used as an over-the-counter antidepressant in ages past. That's how good it was. It was also used for menopausal somatic symptoms. So for women going through certain menopausal psychological issues, this was a herb that was used to address that. It's also used for anti-inflammatory condition because it has those properties as well, and can be applied topically to treat wounds, burns, sunburns, abrasions, bruises, and ulcers. Can also be used to treat hemorrhoids and swollen veins. So very, very effective herb there, just growing in Florida. You can use it green as a poultice, or you can dry it and you can use it. So, you know, very, very powerful herb there. All right, let's move. Any questions, guys? All right, let's move to our next herb.
And we want to see exactly what's over on that side. So this pretty much, you know, was the property that was cleared. So a lot of the natural plants that are natural to this habitat would have been destroyed. That ecosystem would have been destroyed. So we'll find the plants that are commonly occurring over on this side of the property where there has not been much disturbance. All right, so let's go. And I'm seeing a herb. I wonder if that is what I think it is. Let's go a little closer. This is a herb that has greeted me. And I don't know if you know this herb, guys, but this herb is the muscadine grape plant. This is muscadine grape. No, this is wild grape. This is the grape that is beneficial for the heart. Right? So this herb was traditionally, the fruit of this plant was traditionally used for heart-related issues. Very, very powerful herb that was used by the American Indians. Very, very powerful herb. Alright, muscadine. So, as a matter of fact, a company was launched from this grape called muscadine grape. And then we still have more of the creeping.
Alright, so that was the muscadine grape, and I don't know how many of you know about the muscadine grape juice, which is a company that was launched selling a juice that they extracted from a variety of the muscadine grape that was proven to be like 10 or 20 times more powerful than the average grape. Again, what is the key component here is that these plants have intelligence, not just minerals, not just enzymes, but these plants have intelligence. And so that is what, from a health perspective, you're benefiting from. So the muscadine grapes are high in antioxidants, including ellagic acid. It's high in resveratrol, quercetin. Ellagic is really a compound or acid that may have anti-carcinogenic properties. It kills cancer cells. It lowers cholesterol and it reduces the risk of heart disease. Quercetin is more powerful than vitamin C, and so it's also found here. So we're talking about some powerful compounds that are found in the muscadine grape. It also contains flavonoids, and these flavonoids, basically what they do is that they are antioxidative, right? So they remove free radicals from the body. They contain what we call polyphenols, which are compounds which promote hair growth and prevent hair loss by reducing inflammation in the scalp. So polyphenols help to remove inflammation from the body. So when you have a product with so many positive compounds, antioxidants, flavonoids, polyphenols, what you have is a dense, very dense form of natural supplement. In addition to that, because that's the minerals, we talk about intelligent. These are plants that have saved themselves from extinction for hundreds of years. So the thing is, guys, you want to use herbs. You want to use herbs that can protect themselves. Alright? You want to use herbs that can protect themselves. Alright, let's move to our next video.
Prickly, creeping prickly pear, right? So we have more of it. But let's go over, and I'm seeing lots of muscadine grapes on this particular tree, loaded with antioxidant, and it's very, 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 very good for you. Alright, so lots of muscadine grape. It's growing all over on these plants. Very, very good for you. Let's see what else is here. What other herbs are we going to find here? Let's go. So we're seeing a lot of repeat of the pines, a lot of repeat of the rush grass. Oh, here's another plant, another fruit. This is the American beauty berry. This is the American beauty berry. So yes, guys, this is the American beauty berry. As I said, that when it matures, it's very nice clusters of purple grapes that are purple fruits that are edible, loaded with antioxidant. Alright, and I see this because I've been in Palm Beach. So hey guys, it's actually drizzling, so I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get all.
Alright, so that was the last herb, the American beauty berry, and the I saw that in what? Saw not only in Kissimmee, but I also saw that in Palm Beach. Grows a lot down there, and it's a herb that was used by the native Indians for stuff like malarial fevers and rheumatism. It was used for treating dizziness, stomach aches, dysentery. It was used for treating colics, itchy skins, mosquitoes, and ticks. For treating acne. I mean, a number of different ailments were treated by the American beauty berry. It was one of the strongly featured herbs by the American Indians. And so, for those of you who are in Florida, guys, you need to know these herbs. I hope that this video was of benefit to you. Know Thyself is asking another question. He says, do the herbs work better as complement? Do the herbs work better as complement with their sisters, or better on their own, or just depends on conditions? Example, herbs growing next to each other. All right. So yeah, herbs work better when they are used with other herbs from the same family. So, for example, herbs like vervain, which is from the verbena family, works similar. And if you're gonna this is how I put it. Know Thyself. When you use one herb, it's like you're using a sniper. So when a person uses one herbs, night Latasha, night Ver, night Blue Wave, when a person uses one herb, they're usually a very experienced herbalist, because one herb is like using a sniper. It's very targeted, right? When you use a formulation which consists of more than one herbs, all right, I see a Blue Wave. When you use a formulation, it's like a scatter shot. So formulations are more effective for persons who are not really trained to use herbs. Alright, I see a calligraphy. So you want to, but yes, when you use herbs together, you know, there's what we call a synergistic property. I'll do a show on that, but just to answer your question, do the herbs work better as complements? Yeah, they do. They work better as complements. And so when you use herbs from the same family, you're trying to use this synergistic. You're trying to use the what we call how herbs. Synergistic means how one herb helps to bring out the benefit of another herb. All right, so that helps. Let me run through some of these questions. Blue Wave says, Dr. Ben, please remind me the benefits of Shema Maca. As I said, I did share earlier on. I said it has a number of benefits. It helps with pain, so it's a pain reliever. It helps with the nerves, so it helps to calm the nerves. For men who are having erectile dysfunction, it helps with boosting sex drive. It helps with a number of kidney related problems. It has lots of iron, so it helps with that. Helps with the liver as well. You know, a number of benefits from the Shema Maca. And then calligraphy says, Dr. Ben, is there any herb that's a natural underarm deodorant? No. What is the person is that if you're having a strong issue with underarm scent, it's really a sign that your blood needs cleaning, that you need to detoxify. Usually what is coming out is the toxins. And so a good herb is lemon is a good herb, because what it does is that it neutralizes the scent. So if you get a lemon calligraphy and just put it under the arm, or lemon juice, it neutralizes the arm odor. Alright. Very James says, Dr. Ben, what can I use with the mulberry? I'm right for blood pressure. So for the mulberry, because as it relates to hypertension, it depends on what is causing the hypertension. There are a number of different reasons why a person may have hypertension. So the first thing you want to do is you want to find out what is causing the hypertension, because what is causing it is going to determine what's best for it. So if your hypertension is caused by not enough magnesium, you may want to increase your magnesium. So a lot of times, if your high blood pressure is triggered by sodium, a lot of times you're low in magnesium. It may be that you have narrow arteries. You know, it really depends on what's causing it, your high blood pressure. So you want to, first of all, if it is that your high blood pressure is caused by the blood vessels being too elastic, then that's where the mulberry comes in, because mulberry is an astringent, and so that's when it helps. Good night, Dr. Ben. That berry herb that I saw just a while ago in your video is also found in Jersey. Okay. Taklemqua. Yeah, it's found all over the US. It's found that video was done in Florida, so it's found all over the US. So that's a look on the herbs that we featured in our last herb walk in Florida. All right, and I'm gonna put the links to I'm gonna put the link to that video so persons can refer to it. I'm gonna put it in the description of this video. So guys, thank you for being on. Thank you Taklemqua for joining. Thank you Very James for joining. We've been on over about 2 hours, and we've exploited all that we wanted to exploit. I'm glad, because we tried to do this video 2 times and it didn't work out. So guys, look out for our upcoming live on Tuesday morning. We'll be doing our Manifest Now. I call it Manifest Now. We're talking about mind medicine therapy. I'll be talking, look out for that Tuesday morning at about 10 a.m. my time, as well as look out for our live with Dr. Blake, and also next week Sunday at 3 we will resume our 60 minutes with Mother Nature, and we'll review that again at 7. Taklemqua said also grown wild is what called jokoto, and plant is eaten like kalalo and has purple berries when ripe. That's called pork root in the US. It's called jokoto here in Jamaica. Yes, edible vegetable, very nice. Matter of fact, we have some up in the Rio Grande Valley. I love it. Tastes really good, and I've done a couple videos on that. Alright guys, I want to thank you for joining me tonight. If you have not yet subscribed to our channel, please do, and please invite somebody else. Next week Sunday at 7, where we'll be reviewing some more herbs. Thank you guys, nice to have you, and see you in our live. Until next time, just want to remind you that your health is your responsibility, and the greatest weapon against sickness and disease is education, not medication. Bye-bye.